Next up on the tee, she's a physical therapist that's certified by the Titleist Performance Institute. We're going to learn a little bit more about that and her work, specifically helping injured golfers. It's Catherine Hoell joining us on the Course of Life. Catherine, how you doing today?
Awesome, Alex. How are you doing?
Very good. Good to connect with you in Massachusetts. Thanks to my mom and stepdad for connecting with you out on the golf course to lead us to this conversation today. It sounds like you got quite the background in golf as well, too. How long have you been playing golf? Are you a lifer, or what's your story with the game of golf?
Okay, so I'm not a lifer, but I'm
Okay.
definitely a convert. And it was really awesome to connect with your parents. They were so cute. Your mom is just so into the game. She tries so hard. And I think she's actually a little too hard on herself. But your stepdad was so nice. He was giving her little instructions that she was really taking to heart. And he was doing this so, like, encouragingly, which I really like to see. You know what I mean? So they were just a really nice dynamic duo. We
Love to
always
hear it.
connect like a couple times a year because we belong to the same public golf course. So that was just really fun to do. And no, I didn't pick up a club till I was about 23 years old. So
Wow.
I used to play tennis. And I think when you start and play a sport when you're younger, it just helps you in the golf game. So I was a tennis player. It was my dad's sport. It was not really for me. And then one day I was watching him hit balls on the range, and I said, you know what, let me just try that just for fun. And I got up there because I've been watching him for like at least 10 minutes. And I'm a very visual learner, like most of us golfers are. And I hit the ball. It wasn't great, but it was enough contact where I basically spent my whole adult life chasing that feeling.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Very good story. Yeah. And that is that moment, that aha moment. Like someone like yourself who was like, you were right next to golf playing tennis. You finally picked the club up, and that one shot really can convert people.
Literally, that was it. I moved to Cape Cod for golf. I live on a golf course. I help injured golfers. Like literally, golf is my life, Alex. I love talking about it, playing it. It's a wonderful lifelong sport.
Nice. Well, we have audience all over. So let's take people specifically to Cape Cod. For those who don't know, it's that little hangy island off the coast of the southeastern coast of Massachusetts, and it's an absolute mecca for golf. Tell everyone
Huge.
about the plethora of courses and what you enjoy most while playing there during the season.
I mean, if you don't know, people think Cape Cod like beaches and maybe now more infamously for the sharks,
Yes,
out
that's right.
there. But Cape Cod has so many golf courses, public and private. I think more golf courses per capita than Myrtle Beach, honestly. So it's just a lot of golf courses. And I live right in the middle of Cape Cod. And I love playing in Dennis Pines, Dennis Highlands. That's where I belong, your parents. But I'm lucky enough to play all over with my league, and I got to go play in Hyannisport this year and Cape Cod National. Eastford Hoe is kind of like our Pebble Beach, on Cape Cod. So many really cool little golf courses.
Nice. And I'm hearing you just had a win of your own in a tournament. Is that right?
Yes, well, I think you heard this through your parents, but yes, they were very cute. Because I played with them right after I won the club champion at my club, and I like to
Nice.
say I'm a big fish in a little pond, but it's still fun to get out there and compete at any level, and it's just fun trying to do your best on that day, and just try to put a good round together when it counts.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good context for sure. So tell me a little bit about your background, like professionally, what you've done, working, whether it has it always been in physical therapy, and when did physical therapy and golf and everything kind of intersect for you?
Well, so that's a good question. And that's basically a wonderful marriage in my life because when I started as a physical therapist, I started in orthopedics, helping people with their sports injuries. And I was helping a lot of golfers. And that was really about the time that I just picked up the club and started working on my own game. And I'll tell you, this is kind of funny because I was just kind of a hacker, just playing around and not doing any tournaments or anything. But just a few years after I picked up the game, I was watching the Golf Channel, like, on a rainy day.
Yep.
And I saw this was like the early 2000s. So
Okay.
here I am, because I've been playing for a while. And I saw on the TV on the Golf Channel Dr. Greg Rose from Titleist Performance Institute, or
Okay.
TPI, like we call it. And as a physical therapist, I was listening to him and I'm like, he's talking my language. And he was talking about the body swing connection, which is really what I've spent my whole life working on, helping injured golfers. So to see that our body and our body's limitations or strengths are very responsible for our performance was really kind of an aha moment. And that's when I started, really looking it up and what is this TPI and how can I be a part of it as a golfer, but also help my patients. So it was really just, I kind of just couldn't get enough of that knowledge.
Very well said. And the idea of golf is that it's a very much a mental game, but it involves the human body for every single motion. So yeah, explain to people
Yeah.
exactly what that. It's an intimidating term for some casual golfers when they hear TPI, they're like, "Whoa, what's all that?" But explain to
Yeah.
people what the Titleist Performance Institute does and what it helps do for people in their bodies while they play golf.
Yeah, no, so that's a good question. And TPI should not be intimidating. A lot of people like to use that information because, as practitioners, it is so helpful for us to identify swing problems, whether you're a pro or a personal trainer or a physical therapist or a chiropractor. It really helps us in our field to dial down and specifically help golfers, I think, better than. Any program out there that's designed for the body swing connection, so that's why it's around a lot, because it is so powerful in terms of the. Just lost my earbud.
Oh, that's all
In
right. So
terms,
you got to back up. That's why we have two,
I got
right?
to back up exactly a 2 for 1. So it's really great because it just helps with that knowledge of that body swing connection. And you're absolutely right. I could give you the best stretches, get your body in great shape, but it is such a mental game. And so a lot of my clients and patients, I'll like start with the breath because you want to get out there and feel relaxed. And as, a club champion, I mean, even in my little, level, it's nerve-wracking. You get so nervous, right? Coming down the 18th hole. It doesn't even have to be a championship. It could just be your foursome that you're trying to beat, these people, and it's nerve wracking. So you have to use your breath, and that's really the first thing that you want to do. But yes, in TPI, it's really a body swing connection, and we use it to help tease out where your body's limitations are affecting your swing and actually your swing faults. And then we attack the body's problems, fix it, giving you some very simple, and that's the thing, it's very simple. Once you identify the problem, then you can just do these exercises. So you're not wasting your time. You're not Googling or, using AI. Give me some exercises to improve my power. Well, as good as AI is, they don't know you and they didn't screen you. And that's where a professional, their eyes, plus that sort of nuance of what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish in your golf game, which is going to change in every season of our lives, really makes a difference.
For sure, yeah, and you think about, like, people researching things for their swing online, and
Yeah.
you'll see, like, "Oh, well, the best tour players have a gigantic shoulder turn and this, that, and there's like, well, there's a lot of people that can't turn their shoulders that far. So, like you said, you kinda have to adapt your physical therapy and your golf swing for what you can actually do, right?
That's the key. It's all about adaptation. Even the tour players, they are having to really, go with what they've got because for every swing, there is a unique body that goes with it. And so you could have the best clubs, but you really need to focus on what your engine, what your body is capable of. And that's where I see injuries. People are, trying to do the wrong thing or not doing enough. And that repetitive motion of the golf swing starts to break down things. Even if you have everything perfectly, it's just repetitive in nature. So it's job security for me.
Ah, yes, for sure. Yeah, and there's millions of golfers out there looking to improve their game. One of the unique, like golf body composition things I just learned about in the last few years is John Rahm. I didn't quite realize this. John Rahm was born with a clubbed, I believe, right foot.
His right yes, his
Yeah.
right foot was very restricted, which actually helps him. And that's why his golf swing is so unique with that bowing of the wrist, because he gets that power. And actually, it almost acts like a nice block to push off of, kind of like a runner, a sprinter, when they have that block and they push off when they start. That's what his right restricted foot actually does. And if the TPI guys over in California had not screened him, they might have attacked his golf ankle mobility, said, oh my God, this is what's holding you back. But actually, it's what is setting him up to actually hit as well as he does, that is the power of the screen. That's a great example of John Rahm, because it's not textbook, but it is using what he's got in his engine to make him just fly.
Yeah, it's a fun golf tidbit to launch into when everyone's like, "Why is John Rahm swing so short like that?" Like, let me tell you, it's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and that's the pleasure of it, is finding out, looking under the hood when I do the screens on people,
Yeah.
and especially after an injury, because I'll take them through rehab, and then I just don't want them to get back to where they were. I want them to get better. Golf is a sport where you can always try to get better for the rest of your life.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, so people are coming to you with a variety of injuries. I can't single one out because it's a different thing every day. But when someone comes to you to your practice and is looking for assistance, with their golf injury and getting themselves right, tell me about what that process looks like and kind of how your screening and process works on your end.
Sure. So I am a physical therapist. I work an outpatient. So it's pretty standard. People will come in for rehab. They'll either come in for an injury or maybe a surgery. Pain is a big motivator, right? Golfers are going to stay out on the course until it's bad, unless they know. And I tell them, you don't need to be dying, to come in. It's okay to have a little tendonitis. It's actually better. And I highly urge this to your listeners. If you have a little nagging pain right now, just get on the books, find your provider in your area, get the help from your medical provider, because they can fix things before it really turns into a problem.
Mm.
But I'll see people, and usually it's pain. Sometimes it's people are losing distance, and they don't know why, and they've got an injury and they think maybe that's affecting it. I will look at them and screen them for that. Or they're just looking to improve their longevity. People are playing golf into their 90s now, but you have to do things to help your body maintain that, so that you can swing into your 90s. And that's why I have that PDF, because as a podcast, I can't show you those exercises, but I've got a few that are really, really good, that I'm happy to share, because I feel when people are moving better and feeling better, they're playing better.
Okay,
And
yeah, and
that really is my goal.
when this podcast comes out, I'll be putting that on Instagram at COL Podcast and Course Life Alex. But essentially, you're giving our listeners just a guide to help them kind of figure out some stretches to get through
Yes,
for
a
it.
specific back care guide. These
Okay.
are 4 exercises that I've pulled specifically, just a high level. It's sort of a blueprint to kind of go off of, to give you a little mobility, to give you a little stability in specifically your back, because that's the number one problem I see in my clinic is back trouble. Because it just could be so hard when you're swinging and you don't have the mobility that you need or the core power that you need. And it just is a really nice way. And then I have one really nice stretch, like my go-to, that decompresses the spine. So it's a really nice one. It's the prayer stretch, which I really like. Because when you're contracting and swinging, repetitively out there for 18 holes, everything gets really tight. And if you don't stretch it out after, you're going to wake up and you're going to feel it. Even I will, and I feel like my pre and post golf routine gets longer every year. I have to add in like more stretches, but that's just part of it if you want to play, into your 80s and 90s.
And honestly, Catherine, our work is far from done because every time I go to the driving range, I stop and I just do 3 or 4 minutes of stretches myself before I hit balls. I'm the only one doing it out there, Catherine. So our work is far from done. We got to keep letting the people know.
It is true. I mean, it's job security for me, but that's why I really wanted to give something, because I'm a golfer, and I'm not someone that some physical therapy. they give you like 3 or 4 sheets of exercises to do, which I'm sorry, I am a golfer and we really don't love exercise. We'd rather be golfing. I get it. So I try to give very specific things, and that's where the proper screening and assessment is crucial, because if you don't assess, it's just a guess. That's kind of what we say. And so once you know the problem, it's real easy to go in and just target it.
I was reading a little bit about this technique that you're doing, which was called dry needling as well, to explain kind of what that is. Is that commonly acupuncture as I know it, or is it something different altogether?
So that's a great question. So dry needling is my secret weapon that I use to help golfers, and it is not acupuncture. It is not Eastern Chinese medicine that I do, although that is great and very effective. The It is similar in terms of the filament needle that we use, but the intention is very different. It's a neuromuscular technique, meaning it's specifically targeting a nerve or muscle that might be tight or affected. Think of like a trigger point, right? Like a knot, like you might have in your shoulder
Yep.
or your back or your elbow sometimes with golfers, or your legs. The dry needling or the filament goes in, and we make a small lesion, and it acts like a contraction with a relaxation response. So it goes in and causes a little contraction, and then it relaxes the muscle. It's almost like removing a speed bump from a road.
Good
you know
analogy.
it just it just allows your muscles to then stretch. So after we do the dry needling, and it's really quick, which is, I love it. So it's 30 seconds per point. You go in once you know what you're trying to release, right? And then you're going to get that mobility, less joint pain, less muscle pain. You can get a better turn. I mean, it's usually instant if you do it right. And so that's really fun. It's a wonderful modality that I have added into my golf specific treatment, and just for rehab patients as well.
Nice. Okay. Very good techniques there. Again, it's Catherine Hurl joining us here on the Course of Life, TPI certified, helping us with our golf injuries as well too. She's an accomplished golfer in your own right. Unfortunately, I've been playing the game my whole life. My hole in one count is still at 0. Catherine, what's
Oh
yours at?
no, I'm sorry. I'm a 2. I have you beat by 2.
Nice. Okay. When was your most recent hole in one, and what do you remember about them?
Okay, so both of them were at my home course where your parents play as
Right on the
well.
Cape. Nice.
And sadly, the first one, I didn't see it go in.
Yep.
It was a 6 iron and I hit it. It was about like 135 shot with wind in my face. It was downhill and I hit the shot and I was feeling really good about it. So I usually push in my cart, I have like the push cart. So I pushed it over, how you prepare for the next hole. So you push it over to the tee box and then I walked down with my putter because I was pretty confident I was on the green. Well, I get on the green and I can't find the ball. And my friend's like, look in the hole. And I'm like, come on, are you kidding me? But I'm literally cannot find it. And I'm mad because I didn't bring a wedge, thinking I'm off the green.
Now you're
But
thinking you're trying to get up and down for par. You're making a bogey here all of a sudden, right?
exactly. I'm getting like kind of annoyed. And then I'm like, well, all right. So to, rule out options, right? Just strategic. I'll look in the hole just to kind of rule that out. And I looked in and it was like, for those of you who've had the hole in one, you know what I'm talking about. And you will, Alex,
Thank you.
you will know this feeling at some point. I'm sure of it. But it was just like, it was in the hole and it was defied odds. So that was really fun. And then the other one was at another par three, at the other course. And I thought I saw it go in. It's harder and harder to see that far, but I'm pretty sure. And you run up and it was in. So that was pretty fun.
Nice. Okay. Well, there's a lot of great golf courses on the Cape. I know you play a lot in Dennis, but take people who haven't seen much Cape Cod golf to like maybe your favorite, like kind of oceanside spot. If you could pick a golf course on Cape Cod to play right now, I've been to a few where the waves are crashing up near the tee boxes. What's some of your favorite scenery spots for Cape Cod golf?
Well, you and I might be thinking of the same one. Is it the one in Truro, the Highland Light? Highland, it's either Highland Light or Highland Links.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but I've seen photos because my mom and stepdad did get out there themselves. So
That is a must. I think if you want a really nice, I think it's a par 3 or par 4. It's a shorter course,
yeah,
9 hole. It is stunning. It is overlooking the Nantucket Sound on a bluff. It is Pebble Beach of Cape Cod for sure. You're looking out. It's actually the course I fell in love with golf because while I was waiting to tee off, looking at, you see a little lighthouse, picturesque lighthouse, and the ocean, in the background. I'm like, this is kind of a cool sport. I think I could play more of this. So
Yeah.
that is definitely a super fun one. Um, we have a lot of great public courses from Sandwich Hollows to the courses in Yarmouth, Bayberry, and a Donald Ross design course, I think, is Bass River Golf Course. That's a really good one. And then we've got next door, we've got Brewster, and we have a captain's course. They have a port and a starboard course. Those
Yes,
are
I've heard of
really
that one.
fun.
You're never
And
out of options on the Cape, clearly.
exactly. I could go on and on. Like there's really just a lot of fun courses.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Well, we love to end with our 19th hole conversation, which I know you're a fan of as well, too. There's many options for Cape Cod golf in the 19th hole. I've done it
So
at the
many.
course. I've gone to a waterside place after playing around, but like take me to one of your favorite 19th hole spots and then tell me what your meal and your drink order is in the clubhouse.
Okay, so if I'm done playing golf at my clubhouse and I go in, it does depend on the time of day and the time of year, right? Because Cape Cod, it gets cold in
Yes.
the winter. And we did have some snowstorms, but we don't always. It gets cold, but you can still play. So if it's really cold and I'm going in, I'm going to probably go to a Bloody Mary, which they make a really good one at our clubhouse.
Okay.
But typically, I like to go in and I love a turkey club. I don't know what it is. I don't eat a lot of bacon, but that nice little strip of bacon's good with the Sam Adams seasonal beer. They have it on tap, so that's probably my favorite 19th hole. At my golf club. But there's so many. I mean, if you're on Cape Cod, I really think after golf, a lobster roll is just quintessential,
Ah, yes.
right? And then a Sassuat Harbor Cafe, right on the bayside. You're looking at the boats after your round of golf, outside dining. It's BYOB, so a little glass of Chardonnay, little lobster roll is like heaven.
Yep, you set the scene very well there indeed. Catherine, thanks so much for hopping on the podcast, informing our audience about golf industry injuries, and feel free to check out that free golf gift guide on our Instagram as well, and play well with the rest of your season too.
Thanks, Alex. You too.